All right, back with me, Jason Johnson, Nola Haynes, and Latasha Brown. Latasha, I want to bring you back in the conversation. Take a listen to what the former guy, Donald Trump, had to say about Putin just earlier this week.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well.
It's like he's bragging. He's always been obsessed with Vladimir Putin. And it's not so much about the individual, Latasha, but it is the nearly 75 million people who voted for this person who still continue to echo his praises. How concerning or how concerned are you about the Trumpism that persists in the Republican Party, particularly in a midterm year?
Listen, I am going to say that what the people of Ukraine are going through right now is atrocious. That what we're seeing, this is a violent war that is displacing them, that is turning them, they have to flee from their country or fight and put their lives on the line. So in no way do I think that is what is happening here. It's the same exact thing, but I do think that the source is the same, that it's coming from the same source. That when we're looking at Trump, the idea of this can't happen here. Well, listen, when I look at the attack on the Capitol in Ukraine, it reminds me of an attack that happened here on U.S. soil by U.S. citizens on January 6th of last year. The bottom line is that he is literally lifting up this whole anti-democratic framework that he is actually saying and creating and aligning himself with a white nationalist. He is also lifting up the irony around saying that war is peace, that he's manipulating. So that what we see right now is this Trumpism is a danger for democracy. We've been saying this. I don't think anything that we're saying in the Ukraine is not for us to think that it's impossible that it would happen here in the U.S. because we're already seeing elements of that happen. Legally, we're already seeing elements of that as people are organizing that say that they support Trump.
Yeah, that's such a striking point you make, Latasha. Nola, I want to get your take on this because I do think there is some naivete among the American people sometimes thinking, well, that is something that's happening 1,000 miles away and doesn't impact me, and it could not happen here. But take a listen to Tucker Carlson. We don't have to talk about the audience that Tucker Carlson has. A lot of people tune into him every night. They consume his idiotic words and they regurgitate them among their tribe of the unintellectual and the unintellectually curious. So take a listen and we'll talk about it after.
So it might be worth asking yourself, since it is getting pretty serious, what is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him? Has he shipped every middle-class job in my town to Russia? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic that wrecked my business and kept me indoors for 2 years? Is he teaching my children to embrace racial discrimination? Is he making fentanyl? Is he trying to snuff out Christianity? Does he eat dogs? These are fair questions, and the answer to all of them is no. Vladimir Putin didn't do any of that.
The danger when the sheep follow the fox, and you see that right there. He is feeding into every GOP trope, and the GOP has become synonymous with right-wing extremists and Donald Trump and Trumpism. How concerned should we be that a huge portion of society listens to that?
We should be gravely concerned. I've been saying for many years, that Donald Trump has been a national security a major national security concern, along with the way in which racism factors into the DNA of this country. It is one of the most destabilizing factors that a personality like Putin sees vulnerability. And when you have talking heads that has a huge platform that's able to convince a large swath of Americans who are already conditioned under this kind of these dog whistles that's wrapped inside of white supremacy. And so anything that you feed them is going to continue. They're already primed. They're already conditioned, yeah. Right? So I think, again, just like with 1-6, they have miscalculated. Putin is a global pariah. So you are aligning yourself with a war criminal and someone who violated international law. That's what you really want to be known as? That's what patriotism is to you? That's not what patriotism is to me, with two parents that are vets. That is not what patriotism is. And we need to have a really honest conversation in this country about how that's been co-opted. And
yeah,
that's part of the...
Yeah, completely agree with you, Nola. We're running out of time. Jason, just your thoughts on this entire...
I am so happy that former President Trump doesn't get security briefings anymore, because we know exactly what he would be doing with them.
Yeah.
This is why he was a danger to this country when he was in office. I am primarily concerned not just for the destabilization, but what this will do to our economy and what impact it will have. And if the same people who are supporting Russia now end up being elected this fall, that could have a huge impact on national security in the new Congress.
Yeah, I agree. We'll pick this conversation up on our IG Live. Thank you, Nola Haynes, Latasha Brown, and Jason Johnson.